Okay, and welcome to the K-Files. We have an abridged version this morning, just a short version of the K-Files, but we're still going to bring you some cases. Good morning, JP.
Good morning, Miss Andrew.
So glad you're here with me. And next week we'll be on a hiatus from the K-Files because we're going to be doing a 2-hour celebration of 25 years in the community with WHIG-TV on the morning show from 7 to 9. We hope you can watch. On the 29th, we hope to have a guest. We're going to try to move that guest to the 29th. JP's going to see if he can do that. But what guest do we have coming up?
Clayton Wagner. He is with United States Concealed Carry. We met 2 years ago in Fort Worth, Texas. He is all about pushing the importance of concealed carry. They offer like different types of insurance plans, different types of training programs. There's a big liability in carrying concealed. If for some reason you get out here and you're involved in a shooting, and a justified shooting, even though law enforcement don't charge you, you're cleared. This family can come after you. And just to defend yourself, you're looking at $40,000 to $80,000 to $150,000 to defend yourself, and you've done nothing wrong. Well, United States Concealed Carry steps in, and they fund 100% of your defense.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't even know there was such an organization.
Yes, United States Concealed Carry. It's like the modern day, what the NRA used to be.
Where are they out of? I mean, where are they?
They are out of,
How
I
does it
believe it's
work?
Minnesota. It's like an insurance policy. Think of it as an insurance policy. It's like $20 a month or something like that. You get a magazine, very similar to the NRA. They keep you up to date with how your legislatures vote.
It's something you're a member of.
That is exactly right.
Okay.
Card carrying member. I am a card carrying member of the United States Concealed Carry, and it is, you shouldn't carry concealed without this type of protection. Because like I say,
Wow.
if you're forced into deploying deadly force justifiably, and the sheriff clears you, the DA clears you, you are still susceptible to being sued. And
Wow. People don't think about
they
that.
do not.
I'm so glad we're having that person on
yes,
because
they do not.
really do not think about that.
And at the same time, let's say you're in a gray area, and the sheriff's like, I'm gonna hand this off to the DA to charge, and the DA's like, you know what, this is a gray area. I'm gonna hand it off to the grand jury, and for whatever reason, the grand jury decides to indict you. Okay, they put you under a bond. They will come get you out. They will come get you out of jail. They will pay your bond so you can be at home with your family, and they will represent you criminally.
Right.
Okay, and they will get you the attorney that you want. Well, they'll get you the best attorney that money can buy in North Carolina. And if you happen to be on vacation in Florida and this happens, they're nationwide. Great organization. You shouldn't carry concealed unless you have this type of protection in place.
Well, you never know. It's not if you shoot somebody in your own defense, it's not cut and dry.
It's not. You're always going to have somebody come back behind you and want to criticize what you did in that 3/4 of a second decision that you made.
Right.
You're always going to have it. In law enforcement, I was a member of the PBA, Police Benevolent Association, and it works kind of the same way, and that is they work to guard your interests, to protect you. If for some reason I was involved in a shooting at work and the highway patrol was like, we're not going to stand behind you. This was a bad shoot. The PBA would have been there to say, you know what, time out. We're going to work to protect Barnes because we feel like it was a good shoot. This is where departmental politics comes into play, things like that. The PBA was there to look after the officer's best interest. The United States Concealed Carry is there to look after your best interest and to guard your interest against maybe a DA or a sheriff that was maybe not pro concealed carry or pro Second Amendment.
Yeah.
So it's important that you consider joining an organization like this, and it's not expensive at all. About as much as a cup of coffee a day.
Well, as I said, I'm glad that we're having somebody on to talk to us about this, because I didn't know it existed, and so many other people don't that, have concealed carry. So we'll be glad to hear from him. We have good guests on here sometimes.
We do.
Really do.
We really do.
And we're going to have more. I've got some other things in mind, and trying to get a bail bondsman on so we can understand that process. Because people ask me all the time about bond. People have a right to have. It is a right to have a bond.
And in society, I mean, we are innocent.
Right.
Until proven guilty. And a lot of times in society, newspapers and the news media start trying to push a narrative to poison your opinion against a law enforcement officer or against your neighbor or against even someone that we want to think of as being wicked. And it's hard not to fall in this trap. Look at the grandmother, okay? Where the young girl got killed.
Yeah.
Okay, you always have to tap the brakes, because none of us, and don't get me wrong, I'm not defending the grandmother at all, but I'm saying we have to tap the brakes.
Yes.
And realize that this woman is innocent. As bad as we may want to weigh in and throw things around, she is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
That's right.
It's just the system that we have.
And she's going to have her day.
She is.
It's coming, and we'll see what happens. But you're right. She's innocent until proven guilty. And that's why we have a court of law. So, okay. Well, let's talk about some cases this morning.
Okay.
I think we talked about Baby John Nash last week.
We did.
And hope that something comes up with that.
This next case we're going to talk about is from February 10th, 2007. I don't think we discussed this one last week, but Gary Lamont Robbins around 2/10/2007, first responders were dispatched to an accident at Rex and Vance Street in Rocky Mount. When they arrived on the scene, they found a van that had been wrecked. Gary Lamont Robbins was inside of the van. EMS personnel pulled him out, and as they were putting him on the stretcher, they noticed he had been shot multiple times, and he ultimately succumbed to his injuries from being shot multiple times.
Right.
Rex and Vance Street, Rocky Mount, February 10th, 2007. No exact time was provided.
Gary Lamont Robbins, if anybody knows anything, 406-6736, there's the number. You can also call 977-1111. Crime Stoppers, call somebody, call the agency, call the Rocky Mount Police Department, whoever you're comfortable calling. It is anonymous, folks. Just call and you can collect $15,000, that's the drill, $15,000 up to $15,000 for your tip, if you can cooperate with law enforcement and help us get people off the street and bring closure to families. That's what it's all about. Okay?
This next one I'm going to talk about is Tillette Princess Davis. This case is from August 28th, 2007. Officers responded to 600 Gay Street in Wilson in reference to a female lying in an area behind White's Tire Service, downtown Wilson. Once they arrived, they found Tillette Davis deceased. She had been reporting missing just earlier that morning. White's Tire Service, downtown Wilson, old US 264 or Nash Street, or there near. No other details provided, no time. She had been reported missing.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of information. This is another one that we really don't have a lot of information on. So,
But if you know something, yeah, please reach out to law enforcement. The smallest detail could bring closure, maybe arrest in this case.
Exactly. The next one we do have right much information.
We do. This case is Leona Johnson and Deborah Shriven. Does that sound right?
I think so.
This case is from December 21st, 2007. Leona Johnson, who was 50 years old at the time, was a secretary for the Rocky Mount Police Department's Uniform Division for 3 years.
I remember that. when
I
it
do too.
happened.
When she failed to show up for work at Rocky Mount Police Department, they went to her home at 1247 Compass Creek Drive in Rocky Mount to check on her. When they arrived, they found a broken glass in the back door of the residence. Police made entry into the home and found Leona Johnson and her friend Deborah Shriven, 44 years old at the time, shot to death. Deborah's son, Devin Shriven, was also in the home and shot, but rushed to the hospital where he remained in critical condition but recovered. Police say that the shooting happened somewhere between 3:45 a.m. and 9:45 a.m. the morning of the 21st. All three were found shot in 3 different rooms of the residence. Police stated that it was not a random act and that they likely knew the killer. In September 2008, Devin Shriven was staying at the Hallors Motel in Rocky Mount with his brother Antonio Wardell Matthews. Antonio shot his brother and killed him. Devin was the only witness to the murders at Compass Creek just 10 months prior. In 2011, he went to trial and the judge declared a mistrial. The DA's witness saw 2 people leave the scene. However, only Antonio Matthews was ever charged with first-degree murder. The DA planned to charge him again, but with second-degree murder. Matthews decided to plead guilty to manslaughter in June 2012 and was sentenced to 5 years. However, he was released after 8 months and later put on parole.
This case is complicated.
Yes, it is. But the last 2 sentences or 3 sentences explains exactly what's wrong with the judicial system in North Carolina.
Unbelievable. A man is walking the streets. I mean,
And has been out.
released. I mean, 8 months after he went in for second-degree murder, you're on the street. Unbelievable. Well, Compass Creek Drive is off of Gold Rock Road. It turns to the right off of Gold Rock Road, 48 Highway, whatever you want to say. But, you know, it's very, so the Devin was a witness,
He was.
and they got rid of him.
I'd love to know who the other guy was leaving the scene of his
know.
homicide.
I know.
Who was this other guy with Antonio?
They were at the Hallors Motel in Rocky Mount, which is right down the street here on 301. Leaving the scene with his brother Antonio Wardell Matthews.
You can't help but wonder or draw the conclusion that they have to be related. The homicides have to be related.
Absolutely, I would think. Well, if anybody knows anything about this case, but if he was already released, I mean, what are they going to do?
Well, nothing for him, but he could hold
But
key
he could hold
critical
the key,
information
right?
To the first 2 homicides.
Right.
That's why I was saying I'd love to know who this unnamed person is that was seen leaving with Antonio, because it almost sounds like a hit.
Right. Well, it sounds like Leona Johnson was the mother that just was there in her home, and they were after
They were probably
her
not even the
sons.
target. They were probably not
She
even
was
targets.
not. Yeah. Well, anyway, if you know anything about this case, please call. Please let somebody know something, because need to bring some closure to this family, because this is another one that happened around Christmas time, 12/21. So, a lot of
This-
cases.
And this next one as well. This next case, Carolyn Ransom, is from January 2nd, 2008. Carolyn was found around 9 a.m. by a maintenance man working in her apartment complex at the 900 block of Gregg Court, Rocky Mount. Carolyn was raped, assaulted, and strangled. Authorities suspect that she may have been killed on New Year's Day.
Wow.
Carolyn
Okay, I'm
Ransom.
not sure where Gregg Court is.
I'm not.
At all, but 900 block of Gregg Court, somebody knows, and somebody knows this person, Carolyn Ransom. Somebody knows. There's somebody out there that knows something. Somebody knows something about every case, and that's what law enforcement tells us every time they come. So,
And if they seem to think this happened around New Year's, I mean, you know, who knows? You may have seen her at a party, New Year's Eve.
That's
you know,
true.
You could have seen her with someone. You could have seen her at a convenience store. Any information that you might have putting her with someone or possible suspect, New Year's or New Year's Day, please report it to law enforcement.
okay, it's time for a break, and we'll be right back with more right after this.
What is the Davis Furniture difference? The difference is we buy with you in mind. For generations, we have listened to our customers. We can help you find the look you want for every room in your house. Quality, style, color, and of course, service. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Davis Furniture, the family business where we treat you like family. Let us help you make your house a home. Davis Furniture, historical downtown Rocky Mount, on the corner of Hill and Main.
Okay, well, welcome back. Want to mention our fundraiser. It's going to be at the Rocky Mount Mills on April 29th, and JP and myself, I think both will be there. And JP's been kind enough, he's going to donate a cooler, those Arctic coolers.
Nice
People
Arctic cooler.
love those.
And $400 concealed carry gift certificates that
Oh
don't
my
expire.
gosh.
You can transfer them. You can gift them away.
Yes.
I look forward to it.
Well, we look forward to seeing who's going to win those, because people always fight for those. You know, they're good. We have great prizes and great reasons to come out to see the law enforcement and talk to the law enforcement, and all the blinking lights going on, and it's exciting.
Kids love it.
Bring your kids, bouncy house. We've got 2 food trucks coming. Just an exciting time to celebrate our organization and to try to bring awareness. Is why we do it, to bring awareness to the community about Team Cold Case and what it really is. So put that on your calendar, and we'll talk about it more and be giving you more details. So as weeks go on. So okay, we're going to do another case now.
This next case is Jameer Whitaker. This case is from January 12th, 2008. Jameer Whitaker's life was cut short around 8:30 p.m. when his house was shot at 2805 Pelham Road in Rocky Mount. He had just turned 2 years old. His father was shot twice and recovered from his injuries. Jameer was shot and died at the hospital. Witnesses say a person run to a dark green or blue late model 4-door Ford Taurus with tinted windows just after these shots were fired. Police called it an attempted robbery.
That's just unfair.
No,
2
that's right.
years old. Life just beginning. Cut short. And I don't really know where Pelham Road is, do you?
No, ma'am.
I really don't.
This doesn't sound random either for someone to take the time to get out of their car
Right.
to run up to a residence to take shots.
You're right.
That's not random. And it looks like to me, this is probably a case where they have suspects. They just can't
yeah.
make.
Well, I mean, the description of the car, I mean, they know what kind of car it was. Dark green or blue, late model, 4-door, Ford Taurus. I mean, pretty good description of the car. So, tinted windows. So, very good description of the car. Right after the shots were fired. So, I mean, sounds like they might have been involved.
Jameer's dad or his family probably have got a pretty good idea who did it. They probably
Yes.
just need that one little bit of information, that little tip from the community, from the public, that would help bring this person to justice.
Absolutely. And you want to. You want to do this, folks, because a 2-year-old was killed. A 2-year-old. So please come forward and please help solve this case. Okay. Wow, we got a name on this next one.
I was gonna ask for help on this one.
Ballsy, I guess Ballsy.
Iowa Nawaz.
Nawaz.
This case is from March 3rd, 2008. Officers responded to 705 Black Creek Road, southeast in Wilson, in reference to a robbery of a business. The suspects dragged Nawaz behind the store and assaulted him. He was able to get back in the store after the assault, and he collapsed. He was transported to Wilson Medical Center and then Wake Medical Center for treatment, where he later died. So apparently they must have basically beat him to death.
This sounds like another convenient mart.
Convenience store. And that's what I'm assuming as well. Fawaza Aya Nawaz, 705 Black Creek Road, southeast in Wilson,
And I don't
March
know where-
3rd, 2008.
I know where Black Creek is, but I don't know where
Black Creek Road runs
is.
off of 301, like you're going into Wilson, just before you get to what I call the train trestle. It goes
okay.
over 301. It turns to the left. That is Black Creek Road.
Okay. Well, if anybody knows anything about this robbery, it happened in 2008, and I know that was a long time ago, but somebody knows something. Somebody saw something, or somebody was a part of it, or something. So you need to come forward. It'll be anonymous. Nobody will know who you are. Okay. The next one we don't have a lot of information on, but we'll give you what we have.
Yeah, this case is from April 2nd, 2008. Ryan Lee. April 2nd, 2008. Around 11:30 p.m., the Rocky Mount Police Department was dispatched to a person that was shot on Clark Street in Rocky Mount. Upon arrival, they found Ryan Lee, who was 16 years old, had died of his injuries. After investigating, it appeared that Lee was shot over on Branch Street and ran 2 blocks to his home, where he collapsed. So it sounds like to me he was, according to the investigation, he was shot somewhere over on Branch, ran 2 blocks, and collapsed over on Clark Street in Rocky Mount. Ryan Lee, 16 years old, 11:30 p.m., April 2nd, 2008.
Sad. And look at how many of these guys are teenagers. 13, 15, 16. I mean, haven't even begun their lives and just got involved. Most of the time, got involved with a gang or some wrongdoing, and it just drugs just led to their demise. So really, really bad. Let's do a hot now before we go off real quick. We'll do a hot now. This has been on the news in the last 2 days. Happened Tuesday. Tarver Street in Rocky Mount. A lot of you know where that is. On March 13th, 10:48 p.m., Rocky Mount Police Department responded to a shooting with injury at 1300 block of Tarver Street. Officers arrived on scene, located a 15-year-old male victim who sustained gunshot wounds. The victim was transported to UNC Nash by ambulance and died at the hospital. Rocky Mount Police are continuing to investigate, and as they are continuing to investigate, they sent out an update the next day because that day they could not, they thought they knew who did it, but couldn't find them. So there was an arrest. Jazion Moody, 20 years old, of Greenville, and Shala Fenner, 19, of Tarboro, were charged with first-degree murder. Both were confirmed in the Edgecombe County Jail under no bond. Additionally, warrants were obtained for Deshunto Alston, 19, of Rocky Mount, stemming from the search warrant conducted at 1324 Tarver Street. Charged the house, and it showed the house on WREL, shot up, the windows shot up on 1324 Tarver Street, and inside they just found guns, everything, drugs, 3 counts of possession of a stolen gun, possession with intent to sell and deliver marijuana, felony possession of marijuana, maintaining a dwelling, possession of drug paraphernalia, 5 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, because this kid that got shot was 15. How a shame. 15. So
And
anyway,
they drove here from
yes,
Greenville and
from Greenville
Tarboro.
and Tarboro.
This goes back to what Sheriff Stone says. It's so important that these law enforcement agencies establish relationships,
Yes.
share information, because as this demonstrates, you have kids, young adults driving from Tarboro and Greenville to Rocky Mount to perpetrate crime,
That's
to kill
right.
people right here in our community.
Exactly. And somehow this 15-year-old got involved. The others were 19 and 20. But here's the younger kid getting involved with a gang. I don't know that they were a gang, but gang, drugs, something. And now he's gone. So anyway, that's our hot and now for today. JP, I guess we had a short show today, but in 2 weeks we'll be back with you, and hopefully we'll have the full hour and bring you some really good information, have a guest. We look forward to that. So anyway, make it a great day, everybody.